And indeed, we trust that God is going to be with us as we continue with this meeting. This is Molly's. For those who are joining us for the first time, at Molly's, we build the capacity of individuals and organizations, and we do that through mentoring, through training, through coaching, and other support services. Today, we have a very interesting topic. Our topic is opportunities or discovering opportunities in strawberry farming. And maybe just to, before we start, just to ask you something or to mention something, that strawberry produces sweet and juicy fruits with a bright red color and aroma. They can be consumed fresh or in foods such as preserves and pies. But did you know that strawberry farming is a huge income potential that people, farmers, and everyone else are encouraged to venture into? So to hear about this and to learn about this and more, we have our speaker for the day, Dr. Esther Kimani. Dr. Kimani is not new to us. For those who have attended our webinars before, she recently spoke to us about opportunities in the agriculture sector. And so before I invite Esther to speak to us, I just want to give a very brief introduction of Esther. It is good to do that so that you also know who is speaking to you. Esther is the Chief Executive Officer, Pesticide Control Product Board, PCPB, and a former Managing Director of Kenya Plant Health Inspectorate Service, what we refer to as KEPHIS. She was the Managing Director of KEPHIS between 2014 and March this year. She's a founder of a startup company, COVID International Limited, a company offering agricultural consultancy on best practices in selected agricultural value chains and on sustainable agriculture, agricultural market access, besides other services that promote access to quality seeds, plant health, food safety, and quality of agriculture produce. She holds a PhD in crop protection, MSc in plant pathology, and BSc agriculture from the University of Nairobi. She's a student of MBA strategic planning. I can't introduce Esther enough. I would take long to do that. Her profile is rich. She has served this nation in various capacities. And one thing I know about Esther is that she's passionate about building the capacity of youth, women, and all for wealth creation through agriculture. And so today we are going to get a part of Esther by learning from her about this very important crop, strawberry. So Dr. Esther Kimani, karibu sana. The floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Mary. I hope that the expectation that you have laid about me, people will feel that have met it. Thank you. So today we are going to talk about the strawberry. And let me be able to scroll down.
Click on it, use the scroll button.
It's okay now. So our topic today is on discovering or how to discover opportunities in strawberry farming. And I hope that the goal at the end of this presentation is that all of us will have identified a niche on how we can make strawberry growing a vibrant industry in Kenya. So we are going to look at the introduction and also benefits of eating strawberry, and then farming of the strawberry, and then some cultural practices, pests and diseases, and also training opportunities that are there, and then other markets and also other opportunities, how you can serve the strawberry industry in Kenya. So I'm sure all of you are very familiar with the strawberry. And I'm sure if you haven't seen it being sold somewhere, you have seen it in some pictures. The pictures there show how the plant looks like and also the fruits. And it has got two growth phases where it grows vegetatively. And also It also produces what we call lanners that can be used to propagate more plants, and the plant can survive in the field for 3 years or 4 if well taken care of. Strawberry farming has a very huge potential, which can turn job seekers to job creators. And it's cultivated globally. That means that if you're in strawberry business, you have got customers all over the world. However, we don't grow a lot in Kenya, but the leading producers in the world are Chinese, China, followed by Americans, then Mexico and Turkey. In Africa, we have Egypt and Morocco who grow and export. And for Africa, I must say that there's a lot of opportunities, even as people continue to know the health benefits of certain foods. And in Kenya, there are also very many opportunities, and we can hardly fill this market because we produce just 10% of the domestic market. But due to our liberalized way of doing businesses, you find that people are also exporting, so there's also opportunities there. So some of the benefits of the fruit, it has been reported to help in blood sugar. It's an antioxidant, can increase your immunity, improve your heart vascular activities, and also protect you from microbial effects. For those who are in the nutrition, you can compare the nutritional value. It has got very high, very many nutrients, and some of the important nutrients that can help you even as you age, like selenium and folate, they are also there in plenty. And strawberry farming in Kenya, it can grow under a wide range of climatic conditions, both in the highlands, midlands, or even the lowlands. So you have no excuse for not being able to grow it. And it's grown in most parts of the country. And I'm sure even where it is not growing, maybe people have not tried to venture into it. And it grows in most of the areas in Central Province, former Central, the counties that are in the former Central Province, can grow in Kitengela at the river. So even in Nairobi, I have a neighbor who is growing it, and Nakuru, Eldoret, Kelisho. But it does very well in cooler areas, but even in other areas, it can do well. It can grow in temperatures ranging from 15 degrees to 30. So you can imagine anywhere there in between, wherever you stay, unless the very hot areas in at the tip of northern Kenya, the rest of the areas it can grow. Fruits have got a wide range of application in the food industry, and also because of their nutritional value, especially the people are getting to eat them, and also those who bake. They use them as to decorate the cakes, and also it can be used in processing jams, and so it can offer very many opportunities to those who wish to grow. However, Kenyan farmers have not realized the benefits and the value of this crop. So if you want to venture into strawberry business, what do you need to know or have? You need to know the varieties, and especially the varieties that will be accepted in the market. You need to know where do you get your good planting materials from, and where you plant, how do you prepare the beds, and those are the production processes. What do you need to know? Because like in Kenya, many people say that everybody is a farmer. But as many people are discovering, farming is a science in itself. So you need to know how to do those production processes. Crop management, harvesting, how you handle the crop after you have harvested. And then when you're starting this business, you need to know what is your target market. because you can have just doing strawberries, but your objective is to sell the seedlings to other farmers for planting. Or if it's a fruit, are you selling it as a fresh fruit, or you want to process it into jam or juices, so that from there, now that is what would inform your business plan and the kind of investments you are going to make. So you need also to identify your sources of funds, how you are going to manage your finances, because I find many farmers start their businesses, but the first season when they get a lot of money, they squat down the money and they forget that they are supposed to be plowing back some of it back into the business. And so if you are going to do farming as a business, whether it's strawberry or anything else, you need to set up systems for financial management and structures for management. Like any other business, your farming needs to be managed. And so you need to understand the crop so that you can understand what you are managing, the risks that are there, so that you're able to mitigate against them or detect them immediately they occur, so that you're able to sort them out. And as you know, in farming, there are a lot of problems, like sometimes the plants may not have enough nutrients, or they may be attacked by pests. So you need to know all these, or you need to know when does the market want the product, so that you can be able to manage your processes. So if you harvest and you don't have an immediate market, how are you going to store all those? And then if the strawberry also requires quite a bit of work, so you need to plan your labor properly and manage the people so that they do the right thing. Also maintain sanitation. All those things, the processes have to be managed. And then, of course, you have to identify your target market. So for varieties, there are quite a number of varieties in Kenya, grown in Kenya. But one would really need to do research on the market that you are targeting, so that you grow the variety that is being demanded, or that is popular in the market, because at the end of the day, you have to sell the product. And Shadra variety is the most popular, and it can produce very desirable fruits within 60 to 75 days, and is preferred in the market by the customers like it. But as I tell people, there is always no harm in trying any other, knowing that you are taking a risk, but you can also change the consumer's tastes if you are willing to invest into it. Growing the planting and the cultural practices. Cultural practices just means the things that you need to do, like weeding, managing the pests, all those kind of things. You need to know the conditions under which it grows. So the crop can be grown in open field. You can grow it in greenhouses. You can use hydroponics. This is where you are doing soilless kind of cultivation. And also, like in vertical gardens, I think these ones are becoming quite popular, especially in urban areas where people don't have big pieces of land. You can grow in containers or in tubes, as long as you put some stones and then you add nutrients to the plant. Or you can grow strawberry in all those. And you can, strawberry can be grown from seeds, but it's usually very difficult. So runners are the ones that are normally used. You see runners in another slide down. And then because this is usually difficult to start with seeds, and thus runners are the ones that are mostly used. But if you're already in it and you have time, you can still explore trying to germinate new seeds. You might come up with your new variety, because one of the challenges that is usually there when you're growing plants from seed is that you may not have that kind of uniformity. So, but it gives you opportunity to discover new varieties. Soil's pH is around 5.5 to 6.5. That is acceptable, or the one that they like best. And spacing, it usually varies, but some people recommend 15 to 20 inches apart from plant to plant, and then so between rows you can use 3 to 4 feet, depending on how you want your plants to be close. But sometimes when they are too close, if there is an outbreak of some fungal diseases or something, then it spreads very fast. So it's always good to space your plants, but you have to also consider the economics, especially where you don't have a big piece of land. So once they are planted, especially when you're planting in the field, they should be mulched. You can use plastic mulching, straw, or compost or grass clipping. This helps in keeping even the fruits clean. So when you are planting, one of the things you have to consider is the quality of the seedlings that you are planting, because that will also affect the quality of the berries that you get out of them. So the planters can be quite expensive if you consider that maybe in a quarter an acre you are planting maybe about, on an eighth of an acre you may plant about 3,000 plants, and if each one of them is 50 shillings, then you find it can be a lot of money. But you can start small, and then you can establish your own nursery and take good care of it. But also depending on how fast you want to go to production, you can also invest into seedlings. But if you are doing that, it's good to make sure that you are buying from a certified nursery if you can find one. The plants needs a lot of water, so you have to make sure that you have got enough water before you start that business. You can use drip irrigation, is usually recommended, but of course if you are just starting and you don't have a lot of money, you can also water it, but you need to ensure that you're not putting so much water on the leaves. But of course it's also a lot of work. Pruning, you need to prune your strawberry for it to grow well. In fact, when it starts flowering, maybe even the first lot of flowering, and the second, you should make sure that you remove the flowers, you remove them at the base. Also, you keep on removing the leaves that are drying and aging so that the plants can grow well, and also remove all the diseased leaves, and don't dispose them in the farm because they can spread diseases, but you dispose them elsewhere. So the runners, I mentioned runners, they are those ones that look like they're hanging on strings, and those are the runners that are used for propagating new materials. You can germinate them in containers, and then after that you can plant them. So strawberries also require a lot of fertilizer, but you need to put the right amount, because if you put excessive, especially nitrogen, it will promote a lot of leaf growth, and you may have very few flower stalks. That's few strawberries coming out, and too much nitrogen can also result in soft and easily damaged strawberries being developed. So strawberry require additional fertilizer also when it's growing, so you have to keep on fertilizing your plants during the growth period. And it takes about 3 or 4 months to mature after transplanting from the nursery, and from there you can harvest throughout the year. Some of the problems that affect strawberry, the diseases and pests, you have got some of them, most of them affect the fruit. You also have caterpillars that can damage your fruit, so you need to keep on scouting. What I mean by scouting is checking around and looking whether your plants are being damaged by the pests, and addressing the issue before it becomes too much. Because you find that if the disease and the pests have progressed too much, you may not be able to manage them. So you also have things like thrips, red spider mite. I can see I didn't list the slugs, the snails. Actually, they are a menace, and one has to keep on checking whether they are in the field, and you need to manage them. So when they harvest about 70 days to at maturity, then you can keep on harvesting. I'm sure I'm hoping that some of the people who are growing strawberries are here, and they can still comment on this, on whether the prices are the same, and some of the statistics I've given here, whether they are still correct or they are better than I have put. But it says that you can harvest from an eighth of an acre, you can harvest up to 30 to depending on how you're taking good care of your crop. And the price of the strawberry can go from 100 to 200 per kg, depending on your market. So there's high demand of the strawberries, both internationally and locally. And however, one thing I've realized in business, you still have to connect to your own market. Even if there is a lot of market there, you need to identify your customers and sell to them. And so if you don't have those skills, you may have to look for a marketer. But sometimes it's even good, when you're starting the business, just try to understand the market yourself and how to connect to market. For those who are growing, I find that some of them just sell to their neighbors. Depending on where you live, you find that most of them, you won't even satisfy them. So that is a good place to start with your marketing. But also we have got supermarkets like Naivas or Carrefour who can buy, and also hotels like Selena, Safari Park and others. And also those who make cakes. My daughter bakes and I see her all the time going to buy strawberries. So but you have to identify the market and link to it. There are also those companies that are making yogurts, and what you can see whenever you go to buy those yogurts, the strawberry flavored yogurts are usually very popular. Those who are making jams. But of course, you have to connect to your markets. There are also people who are exporting. I saw some people calling themselves JAP. I hope they are here. I had invited them. I hope I sent them the link. And so I hope they are here. They can give a comment, because I saw a group that is organizing farmers also and selling seedlings to them and also buying from them. I don't know them much, but I think they sounded like they're in business. So training opportunities, you can get training opportunities from Kalo Horticulture Station in Vika. I think we have got some researchers there who work on strawberries. You can also inquire from the head office. I can give you a contact. And for those planning to establish certified seed nurseries, they should register with ACD and also seek certification from KEFIS. And this also applies to those who want to venture into export market. You must, for you to deal with the exports, you have to register of horticulture products, which strawberries. You need to register with ACD, and KEFIS also certify you, because they also need to give you phytosanitary certificates when you are exporting. And so they certify, they will advise you on pests and issues of management of pests and diseases, and also quality seedlings, and also the standards of the markets on quality. So opportunities, I think, as you see, strawberries are eaten just the way they are, without even washing or peeling anything. So with the increased attention to health, people prefer organically produced strawberries, so they usually fetch even the higher price. And so one can find a niche there in organically. So other opportunities we have got, serve the value chain. You can offer services such as soil testing, selling fertilizer, training farmers, juice processing where you contract farmers, or even ICT systems for connecting players into who are either farming to the market and other service providers. So there are very many opportunities you can have there in the strawberry value chain. And I think that is the end of my presentation. I hope you have identified your niche. Thank you very much. Mary, back to you.
Thank you. Thank you, Daktari. Very, very informative session there. We are quite a lot of good information within a very short time. We have been able to learn a lot, possibly more than we can chew right now. And for
Yes.
everyone in the room, I see we actually even reached the limit I have over 100 people. And so I know some people who are texting me and telling me they have been kicked out. They couldn't get in because we reached the 100 limit, and just tells you how this area is of interest to many people. I think agriculture, and specifically this particular line, seems to be of interest to many people. You know, one person who couldn't join is telling me that, I tell you, Kenyans are hardworking, looking for sorts of opportunities. And I believe that is why we quite had this number of people. We have several comments. I was trying to take note of them. And in the few minutes remaining, we have about 6 minutes before we end our session. But the questions coming, Daktari, a few is one of the question I see is, who certifies seedlings? That is one question I see, and it has been asked by more than one person, that please set contact for seedling suppliers who certify seedlings. But I also then see someone, Buddy Farm, I think, who says, I have certified seedling, um, Harmony variety from Belgium. So maybe you can comment on seedlings. The other thing you can comment on is whether this is on market. I know you have said something about market, that really one has to take their own initiative in terms of looking for market. But is there any organized buyer for strawberry that, you know, I know you've been in the export sector, especially when you're at Kefis. So maybe you can tell us something, anything you know about the market for strawberries as well. So those two lines, certification of seeds and then market.
Okay. Maybe I don't know whether I can draw to the audience with regard to the market, but let me first comment on certification of seedlings. On certification of seedlings, is as I said, the strawberry is not one of those crops that is prioritized by government as mandatory for certification. But so if you really want to establish a certified nursery, you have to take initiative. HCD, Horticulture Crop Directorate, registers nursery of horticulture crops. So they can register you. And then also, if you, not if you want, once you have been registered by HCD, KEFIS can certify you with regard to the freedom from pests and diseases or the health of your seedlings. I don't know whether Barry can comment on that because he says he has a certified nursery. I don't know who is certifying him. However, also if you are growing organic products, there are bodies that usually certify people like AfriSat, and but they are private bodies, so you'd have to seek for their services there. But if you are in the export market, then you have no choice because you have to be registered with HCD and also certified by KEFIS, because the external markets require that all agriculture products going out of the market be certified by especially KEFIS for phytosanitary certification. That is the one. As for the market, whether there are people who buy, most of the buyers are the supermarkets. But you see, as I said, like any other market, you have to go and buy. I saw there's a group in Nyeri which has organized themselves. In fact, they're even selling the leaves. I forgot to mention that. I saw somewhere that even the leaves have a market, especially for people who produce these flower bouquets and whatever, so people can sell. But I don't know whether there are some organized groups, but except that cooperative I saw that is in Nyeri that markets for their members. So one would have really to organize themselves. I don't know whether there's anybody in the audience who can comment on that.
Thank you, Esther. I'm going to invite the Bali farm, if they are still present, to comment on the seedlings. But before I release you, so that I don't get you back to make any other comment. I'm sure we may not be able to answer all the questions now, but you could say something about export. I think you have already mentioned something about export, because one of the questions again was whether there is an organized strategy for export. And I think Dr. Ali has mentioned about export. It's more finding out about who are exporting, or where strawberry is getting is on demand as far as export is concerned. Now, there's a question, I think this is a clarification, Dr. Ali, about how much does an eighth of an acre produce? I think you had said something about that. The amount, how much strawberries does an eighth of an acre produce? The other one is, how do you control or manage snails and slugs? So I think that you can possibly just, if you, one of the slides, I know you said how much an eighth of an acre produces, and then you can tell us how we can control snails and slugs. After you do that, Berry Farm, if you're still present, you can tell us how about your seeds, because you say that you have seeds, certified seeds.
For the eighth of an acre, you can harvest from 30 to 50 kg per week once it starts flowering. And sometimes it may continually produce for about 3 weeks. And then maybe after 3 weeks, it starts producing more. It can produce throughout the year. So it all depends on how you are taking good care of your crop. But if you're taking very good care of it, once you start harvesting, you can harvest 30 to 50 kg per week. Then the other question was what, Mary?
The other question was how you manage or control snails and slugs.
The snails, yes, the snails. Hey, the snails, the best way to manage them is they are usually, I hear people saying they are usually attracted to alcohol. So some people usually put a container of alcohol at strategic places in their strawberry gardens, or where they're growing strawberries. So they usually come and drown there. I think that seems to be the most effective kind of controlling way of controlling snails. But also, if you see them, since they're usually big, you can also collect them and destroy them, or you can put some sand around the plants, because also they don't like walking on sand. But they are usually a menace. And the most effective one I have had is that one of attracting them to the alcohol and drowning them.
Thank you, Dr. Ali. And someone, I think Rosemary, says she actually plants spring onion besides them, and they control snails as well. So I think we can learn from her. I think it's Rosemary, if I'm not wrong, who put that comment. Then Gabriel Kay says there's a huge export market in the sector, and we have exported tons of fruits. That is very good to know that there's actually, he actually says the challenge is volume and consistency in production. So market is there. And Rosalie is asking, can they grow in a greenhouse? I think Rosalie, yes. Where we say they can grow in a greenhouse, they can grow in the open space, they can grow in the vertical. I think the vertical. You mentioned about 4 ways in which they
vertical gardens,
gardens,
even hydroponics.
Yes, and hydroponics. Thank you. Now, contact for Kefis, I'm sure you can get that contact as long as you have shared.
You can even check on their website. Just Google, you'll get contact there. But you can also write an email to the director at kefis.org.
Thank you. Thank you. Dorcas is asking Gabriel to share his contacts. Possibly, Gabriel, you can share your email address. You can put it there or share it directly with the Dorcas. Share contacts of anyone doing strawberry farming in Kakamega. And anyway, what we will do, we have your email address. We'll try to put this information together and share with you, including any other additional information we have for strawberry. We will also share the recording. But besides that, contact us and we can be able to link you up with contacts and people that we have who can be able to give you further support in this area. I want to ask if Barre Farm, they are here, if they can make a very quick comment.
Yes, I'm here. So with seed certification, just as Daktari had said, there's no body that governs strawberry farming in Kenya. So what we did when we imported our seedlings, we first had to get permission from KEFIS. They come and say, then they came. We had. Sorry, I don't know that my network is clear. Can everyone hear me?
You are
hello.
Go nearer.
So okay, so what KEFIS does is that it comes and inspects the farm, and then wherever you're doing your seedlings, you have to separate it from everywhere else. So we had to put a net and we had to put a covering. So every often they come and check. Whenever, I think it's every 6 months, they come and check whether the parameters that they set for us, we are still maintaining them. So anyone who's interested, because our farm is in Nairobi, give us a call, and then they can come visit and see what we're doing.
Great. Thank you.
You have given your contact?
I sent my email address. I posted my email address.
Thank you. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, all our participants today, I think we have no choice but to bring the meeting to a close today. Thanking everyone who has been able to participate in our meeting. It has been such a great learning moment. And thank you for all your notes of saying thank you and appreciating the presentation. Possibly, Daktari, you can't see the comments, but the comments are that was a very wonderful presentation, a lot of information shared, and we are much better. We have learned, and so we are empowered because, like we said at the start, knowledge is actually power. We will use your email addresses to send you any information that you have. For those who are in our database, the Morris database, we also do send weekly or bi-weekly updates through your numbers or through your contacts. So thank you for your time. Thank you for being here. Please, what you have learned, as much as you can be able to apply it, go and apply. The intention is that we become better at the end of the day and we become empowered. Kenyans, we are hardworking, and we know that in spite of the challenges, we are still fighting the pandemic, is that we still want to make our lives better and the lives of the others better. So thank you very much. We will be lookout for our next talk. We should be having our next talk in about 2 weeks' time. And our talks are all around empowering people, about making people better and being able to help you become a more effective and impactful individual in your area of influence. Thank you. Have a great afternoon and have a great week ahead. Asante sana Daktari. We can't thank you enough for that time and for that information you have shared with us.
Thank you.
Thank you for inviting me. Thank you. It was my pleasure.
Asante
Thank
sana.
you.
Thank you.